Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com, and we are here today live with Shop Talk number 23. I have got a live window here somewhere. There we go. Okay, I had a window playing my live stream. That's a little embarrassing, but we're under control now. We are here live with Shop Talk number 23, where we are going to be talking about Nvidia's new Explore AI at home. And specifically, we're going to be talking a little bit about Nvidia's approach to and attitude towards us home builders and homemakers. So I hope you guys will tune in. We'll take a second to give people a chance to tune in here. Looks like we've got some people coming online. We've got Fabian. Hello. IHIB. Welcome. CP. Couch Potato. You need to not be a couch potato, okay? But that's all right. We'll welcome you here. Let's see. Cap. Good to see you. Cap, I believe you are from Africa, if I remember that right. Correct me, Cap, if I am wrong, but I think you're from Africa. Chanu. Hello. Anithos. Hello. Sorry if I am not pronouncing your name right. I want to give you a shout out, but if I say your name wrong, forgive me. David, it's good to see you. One of our regulars. Darren. Anitha, Mostafasa, Joss, Alex, Nelson, hello everyone. I know that Ohio Tech Teen is out there as well, one of our regulars. We've got Nelson coming in, Panroja, and Cap, I remember right. Yeah, you're from South Africa. I believe that you dabble in the electric fence area, if I remember right. So I remember a lot about a lot of you guys. Let's give everyone a chance to tune in. And like I say, we're going to be talking about Nvidia today, and just kind of like, Nvidia is a big company. They're a real company, and talk a little bit about what their attitude is to us small guys. Okay, so let's kind of explore that a little bit. Let me share some of my experiences. Maybe you can share some of your experiences. But while we're waiting to tune in, would you guys like to see kind of what I am working on the Jetson Nano? I've got several series going on right now. I've got my series on the Jetson Nano, then I've got my series on the Jetson Xavier NX, then I have my series on the little Elegoo smart car, the little robot car, and then the one that I really feel bad about is the JetBot AI kit, because we sort of went out and got this, and I haven't had a time to launch that series yet, because I've kind of gotten in a little bit over my head keeping those other series going. But I want you guys to know that the JetBot is coming up. But the good thing is really the JetBot series of lessons will draw on all this other stuff that we have learned from the Xavier and from the Jetson Nano series. And so you'll be kind of taking all of that and bringing it together into a really cool project. So your patience will pay off, but I do appreciate you guys are being patient with me to get that started. But while we're doing that, do you want to kind of see where I am, what I've got going on the Jetson Nano? And I am just having so much fun with the Jetson Nano. I'm going to switch over here. Did I tell you guys to get your iced coffee poured? I can't remember if I told you to pour your iced coffee. If you haven't, get your iced coffee. Okay, so this is kind of where I am on the Jetson Nano. And let's see if I can call this up. I've got so many windows and screens and everything, I get confused about which mouse and keyboard I am on. So here is a program that I wrote, and I kind of went through Dusty's Hello AI World there on the Nvidia website, and I learned how to use the Jetson utilities for image recognition, for object detection, and then that was kind of cool and neat. But then the real fun stuff starts is when you start training networks yourself. And what we're doing is we're not training a network from scratch. We're taking one of the deep neural networks and using transfer learning, creating something that recognizes what we are interested in. And so let me get out of your way and kind of show you. I took one of the mainline deep neural networks, and then I retrained it to recognize single board computers. So let's see if we can come in and fire this thing up. First of all, the kind of cool thing is it's 37 lines of code. It is Python, which is easy to learn, and then it is also OpenCV, which is easy to learn. So sort of like things that us home guys can understand, we can take that and we can actually train a deep neural network for something we're interested in. And so what I did was I trained it for single board computers. So let's see if we can run this thing. It's always a little scary to run programs live. Okay, but let's see if this thing will run. So we are saying run Python file in terminal. And it is sitting and thinking. While it's thinking, I'll have a little sip of coffee. Boom, look at that. Okay, what you see up here is I have the most excellent Raspberry Pi Zero, and at 24 frames per second, it is recognizing that live image of the Raspberry Pi Zero. And then we bring this in, and we have, boom, the Raspberry Pi 3. And then we come back over here, and we can recognize the Arduino Nano. And then we come back over here, and we can recognize the Arduino Uno. Boom. So I've retrained this thing for whatever single board computer I have. I can put it under there and it recognizes it. And to me, that is just really neat. Also, what I did was I did a lot with facial recognition, where it can recognize people. And you guys that are following my Jetson Nano lessons, I'm showing you a peek forward. These are the lessons that I'm making now, and they will be released in the future. Okay, so this is kind of where we're going, where you're actually able to train your own network, deep neural network, through transfer learning. Okay, through transfer learning, you will be able to do that. And so that's kind of what I have coming up in the future. Okay, so looks like we're getting a pretty good crowd out there. Let me take a second and look at some of the questions. You guys are asking quicker than I can answer, but let's get over here to the chat room. Okay, Alex, welcome. Hey, Dwivedi thinks I'm a great teacher. Thank you. That means so much to me. Edsel, hello. Edsel is from Angola. Wow, welcome. Sayed Ali Sudan. Okay, welcome. Alex, do you, OCR, yeah, OCR would be a great thing to do on the Jetson Nano. We can try to do that one of these days. Dwarks-ish, hello. Anitha, I'm too interested to learn through your videos. Great, man, learn through the videos. Okay, Dwakesh has completed the Arduino series, and a lot of you guys are saying, okay, I finished the 68 lessons on Arduino. What do I do now? Yeah, if you finish those 68 lessons on the Arduino, you are ready for artificial intelligence. So it's time to move up to the most excellent Nvidia Jetson Nano. And I tell you that just because I am having so much fun with that. I am really having so much fun with that. A lot of you guys are asking me about the Raspberry Pi. I have an older series of lessons, I think about 50 lessons on the Raspberry Pi. They're getting a little bit old, and a lot of you are asking me to redo those, but I just don't have very much interest in it. I love the Arduino. I love the Arduino because of how easy it is and how robust it is and how you can just get in there and very easily make those GPIO pins sing and dance and do all types of stuff. So I love the Arduino, but at the point that I can't do it on the Arduino, I'm going to jump over to the Jetson Nano, and I just don't see much reason to stop at the Raspberry Pi, because really, if you look at the cost of the Raspberry Pi 4, by the time you get it decked out, it's not that much different than the Jetson Nano. So yeah, I've got Raspberry Pis. Yeah, I do things with them, but where my real energy and excitement is on the Arduino. And when I get to the point that there's something I can't do on the Arduino, I like to move over to the Jetson Nano. And then if you really want to get into some cool stuff, you will move over to the Xavier. And really, most of you guys don't need the Xavier. It's just some of you old coots have got the resources to get an Xavier. That's great. But if you guys are just getting started out, you know, the Nano is going to really do anything that you want. Okay, Sanir says, hello, Couch Potato. I'm way back on lesson 18. Okay, well, get off the couch, Couch Potato, and get through. If you're on lesson 18, you've got a lot still to learn. So I'm just kidding with you, Couch Potato. You know that. Okay, like your videos so much. You're the best teacher. Well, thank you, Chinu. Alex, I have tried Tesseract, but very slow and inaccurate. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. We have someone that likes bubble coffee. Okay, I've actually carbonated coffee before. I find that pretty cool. All right, let's see here. Trying to switch down. We got Omar. Hey, Omar, welcome. Sunil, Alex from Ohio Tech Teen. Hey, he's one of our regulars, and he's like a high school student that is ready to turn the world upside down. The stuff this young man is doing, pretty impressive. Ohio, we tip our hat to you. Let's see, what are the next projects for this channel from Ohio? Well, I need to do the JetBot. That's the next thing I need to do as soon as I find some time. I'm kind of wrapping up. I think I'm like to lesson 65 or something on the Arduino Nano now. They're queued up and they're going to be released to you over time. I've still got some more I need to do with the Elegoo Smart Car, but I really want to do the JetBox. The other thing that I really want to do, kind of like based on what I showed you here on this deep neural network and this transfer learning, I am kind of tempted to do a tutorial series on PyTorch, because you guys know Python now from these classes I've given, you know OpenCV now, but the real kind of hardcore artificial intelligence starts when you start doing PyTorch, and I've kind of gone through some of that stuff, actually understand it, and I think I can teach it to you. So at some point I would like to maybe do a tutorial series on NumPy and PyTorch, and so sort of these more sophisticated libraries that run under Python. That's kind of what I am thinking. Okay, let's see here. We've got Snez, we've got Alex. Jason, can you do everything on Nano that you want to in Xavier? Yeah, guys, like I say, you old coots that have got the resources, man, if you can get the Xavier, it's great. I love my Xavier. But you guys that are younger and getting started, all the stuff that I'm teaching you can do on the Jetson Nano. And so don't feel like if you're strained for resources that you need to get the Xavier. Okay, so let's see. Some more questions. Kimmit. Yeah, Kimmit's an old coot. All right. It's kind of funny. We got a bunch of these grumpy old men, and then we got a bunch of these energetic young teenagers on this channel, like Ohio Tech Teen and Fun Engineering, and we've got like a lot of young people that are just really, really smart. And so it's kind of like a neat combination of grumpy old grandpas, and you're not really grumpy, but these grandpa types, and then we got these young kids, and then we got a lot in the middle. So I think we got a pretty interesting dynamic going on this channel. NBT, hey, okay, welcome. What things can the Jetson Nano do that the Raspberry Pi 4 can't? Okay, the Jetson Nano has got that GPU, man. It has got that GPU. And look at this. Look at this, how I am doing image recognition off of a live video at 24 frames per second. Don't try that on a Raspberry Pi. So this is my problem with the Raspberry Pi, okay? It's kind of like it. And I'm okay, it's a great board. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. But if you look at the Arduino is a board that is rock solid, that works with GPIO pins, so it can interact with the environment, okay? If you lose power, it always boots back up into whatever the program was that you have. So it is just rock solid. Okay, and then you move to the Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi, it's like, okay, the Raspberry Pi 4 with 8 gigabytes, could it be a desktop computer and all of this? But like if I take this and I put a hard drive on it and I put all my cables coming out of it, what have I really accomplished? Okay, so it seems to me like where the Raspberry Pi 4 is really going is more of a media device, like if you wanted to stream media or have videos or music, or maybe a home network storage device or something like that. But I just don't see it so much as an embedded platform. I don't see so much you making a weather station or, you know, putting it on a robot or something like that. I sort of see the Arduino being better for that. And then when I can't do something on the Arduino, I would jump all the way to the Jetson Nano. But that's just me, man. That's just me. I know a lot of you guys like the Raspberry Pi, and I've done, like I said, that huge series of lessons on the Raspberry Pi. So I'm not putting down the Raspberry Pi. I'm just saying it's not where the center of my excitement is. Okay, we got some old coots on here. Let's see, Zachary. Hey, yeah, welcome, Ohio Teen. Yeah, you're a cool guy, Ohio Teen. David. Hey, David is an old coot too. Yeah, we need to have some old coot, we need to have some old coot t-shirts made. That's a good idea. Hey, Mike Downs is an old coot. Alex. Okay, we've really got some old coots here. So that is really great. Hey guys, did you notice that I wasn't here for our normal Friday afternoon hangout, our live stream on Friday? Did you guys know I wasn't here? Did you miss me? Okay, I'm sorry, but I had a septic line problem at at my house. And as much as I like having the Friday afternoon live stream, septic line problems trump everything else. Okay, so I had to go home, and plumber came out, and I'm happy to report our septic line is free and flowing again, so we're in good shape back at home. But that's why I wasn't here. That's why I wasn't here on Friday for our normal shop talk and hangout. Okay, Opal, welcome, Opal. Opal's one of our regulars too, and I believe Opal might be an old coot as well. Okay. Oh, Couch Potatoes 53. That's kind of. I'm sorry, Couch Potato. That's not going to be an old coot. You're sort of one of the in betweens. You're sort of one of the in-betweens. Mad Mark, okay, let's see. Am I going to do tutorials on ROS? Well, I think that if I'm going to do the JetBot, we're probably going to have to get into the ROS. So yes, I had one little foray into ROS. I bought the TurtleBot, and the TurtleBot was like a $2,500 little robot, and it's kind of like a hacked version of that, whatever that vacuum cleaner is, that what is the vacuum cleaner? Anyway, it's like a hacked version of that. And I'll be honest with you, it had like whatever that thing is that does the 3D mapping, you know, that little camera that does the 3D mapping. And that was an expensive robot. And that thing kind of broke our heart. I could never really get it to make a map, save a map, and navigate it. Now, if it was in a small area, it could. But when I tried to like map out the school going down the hall and around the corner, something just didn't work. And I played with it, and I tried 3 or 4 times, but it kind of broke my heart. And so then when you get discouraged like that, you just kind of want to do something else. But with the excitement that I have about the Jetson, I really am excited to jump back into the ROS, and hopefully things go a little bit better this time. But I'm trying to get to that. Yeah, Omar, you missed me on Friday. I missed you on Friday. I would have a lot rather been at our hangout than working with that septic line. I assure you of that. Okay, Roomba. Yeah, the Roomba. Yeah, the Roomba was the word that I was looking at. Yeah, LiDAR was the word I was looking at. You guys know what I'm thinking, but I'm not remembering the word. Okay. Yeah, Emestus. Yeah, you didn't miss it. Okay. Sayed Ali Sudan is 64. Okay. I know a lot of you guys are all the old coots are speaking up, but I know a lot of you guys are young. And man, as much as I love the old coots because I'm an old coot, it's really exciting to see these young guys getting in, and kids that are like 8th graders and 9th graders that are doing artificial intelligence and are building deep neural networks. Can you imagine someone in 8th or 9th grade doing that? What are they going to be doing when they get in college, and what are they going to be doing when they get into the job force? And so the thing that really pumps me up and gets me excited is to see the young guys out there getting into this stuff. And rather than wasting their time with trivial pursuits and silly social media stuff, they're out there going to be the guys that are generating the next generation of breakthroughs in technology. And so that is what really excites me. Okay, man, I've been talking a lot, and I haven't been getting to the topic at hand, which is kind of the topic of discussion today is what is my perception of Nvidia's attitude towards us home hobbyists, us home gamers, us guys that are individuals, that are makers, that are playing around with the Arduino and playing around with home projects. Because I will say that there are probably, I would say, 3 major players in this edge artificial intelligence, or this edge supercomputing. And one, of course, is Nvidia. And I won't say the name of the other one, but you probably know who they are. And I won't say the name of the third one, but you'll probably know who they are. But there's kind of like 3 of the big time major companies that are working in this area, and kind of talk about, as the small individual guys, are we welcome in their world? Okay, because certainly the guys, the Arduino guys, that's an open source board, and they're not really, as far as I can tell, like really a for-profit company. We're their bread and butter, and kind of same thing, the Raspberry Pi Foundation, they are targeted towards us. But how about these big companies? And the thing that I will say is that really excited me, because I just saw this today, and that is Nvidia just launched this new page and it's called Exploring AI at Home. Isn't that kind of interesting? They're targeting, it looks like they might actually be targeting some of the stuff that they're doing towards us home users. And that really kind of made me happy that we are not just a stench or a nuisance to them, but they actually want us playing on their board and playing on their platform. And I found that really refreshing and really exciting, because like I say, I'm not going to mention the other two companies that are working in this area, but like, let me just give you kind of like a personal example. Okay. You know that I'm developing these lessons on the Jetson Nano, and what am I up to? 60 lessons on the Jetson Nano, and I'm always out front running you guys, right? I'm making videos that won't be released for a month or so, so I'm out ahead of where you are, and then sometimes I get hung. Well, Nvidia has this forum, okay, this forum for the Jetson Nano and this forum for the Jetson Xavier and their other boards. And on occasion, I've gotten so stumped with something that I just can't figure it out. And I've gone to their forums with questions, and I will say 100% of the time, someone from Nvidia responded to my question, and their response allowed me to resolve my problem 100% of the time. And that really is saying something, because it's saying that they do not have contempt for us small, home players. And I will say that I've been real responsible in asking questions on their forum. So like if I have a Python problem, or I have a Linux problem, or I don't know how to do something like that, I figure it out, or I dig in. And so I don't just run to the forums every time I have a problem. But let's say if I'm following some instructions from Nvidia and then something doesn't work, and I look into it and I try and I spend a few hours on it and it just doesn't work, I leave a comment or a question on the Nvidia forums. 100% of the times they've gotten back to me, and I really, really appreciate that. Also, the thing I really like is, I don't know if you guys have done Dusty's Hello AI World. That is really cool. It's like, he speaks English, and I'm not saying that like a language thing. I'm saying that as he uses normal words that a normal person can understand. So if you're a guy like me that comes from Python or Arduino or something like that, you can watch that, and he is giving information that you can actually understand. You don't need a PhD from MIT in order to follow his videos. Plus, he seems like a really nice guy. He just seems like a cool guy, kind of like one of us. And so I really like that. I like how Nvidia has that kind of friendly face towards us home makers. I think that's pretty cool. And my dream would be, wouldn't it be cool if one day we could do a live stream and like interview Dusty here and like be able to ask him questions like, what's it like to work at Nvidia? Is it a cool place to work? Because I know a lot of you guys are young people, and I know a lot of you guys are going into technology. Well, just ask a young guy there. I think it'd be really cool to be able to ask him what it's like to work there, because I'll tell you, some high-tech companies are not good to work for. I'll tell you a little story. Okay, I told you I wasn't going to mention company names, but I'm going to mention company names. I used to be an executive in the high-tech world. I was in charge of one of the largest nanotechnology, microtechnology R&D operations in the country. I had 500 masters and PhD engineers and physicists that worked for me. So we were this enormous R&D operation. And one of the things is we had a partnership with Intel. And what we were doing is we were making a radiation-hardened version of the Pentium processor, the kind of like Intel processor, a radiation-hardened version that you could kind of fly through the Van Allen belts without having it have radiation-induced damage, or something that could survive a nuclear blast or something like that. So I worked very closely with that company. They were a very hard company to work with. I'm sorry, I hate to say that. And one of the things is, one of their guys wanted to come to work over for me. And I asked him why he wanted to come to work for me. And what he said was that his wife was pregnant, And on a Saturday, she was going into delivery, and he was at work working on a Saturday overtime because there was some important project that they needed done. Okay, and what happened was he went to his boss. He said, "Hey, my wife is in labor. I need to leave. I need to go to the hospital so I can be there for my child's birth." And his boss said, "What's more important, that you see your child being born or your child's dad have a job on Monday?" I wouldn't want to work for that company. Okay, I wouldn't want to work for that company. And there's another really big company that is one of the most well-known high-tech companies, and they really treat people with a lot of contempt, like they're kind of like publishing partners. They treat with a lot of contempt. So the reason I say that is just because, man, I've had just the most wonderful experience interacting with Nvidia. And you got to know, I don't get paid by Nvidia. It's just like, I make videos about their product, and they're always really nice. And like I say, when I have a problem and I put it on the forums, they always answer. And so, all right, so what do I get really excited about? I really get excited that they have a page now that's called Explore AI at Home. That's like targeted towards us. It's like us little guys. They don't have contempt for us. Now, one of the competitors that I won't say what their name is, but I was trying to play around with a little card. Their card is more like you plug it into something like a Raspberry Pi, like you plug it into a single board computer, and then you bring some parallel processing capability to that. And so I went there and was hung, and I typed a question. I put a question on the form. I'm a smart guy, right? I mean, I'm not just like some idiot. I really look before I ask a question. And I ask a question when you can't get an answer. Okay, like when I can't figure it out. I'm very careful about running to the forums to ask for help, but I was really hung for a legitimate reason, and I went there and I asked the question, and then it like came back saying, "This is off topic. Remove this question within 24 hours or we will delete it." I thought, well, okay. And then sure enough, they deleted it after 24 hours, but it left it there with this person. It was like, come on, guys. This is supposed to be a forum. And then also, it wasn't off topic. There were 4 questions on the forum that were exactly the question that I'd had. Those 4 questions hadn't been deleted, but those 4 questions were never answered. They were just kind of brushed off. And so I asked it, and then I felt like I was treated with contempt. And that's why, man, Nvidia, they have really, I think they've done a great job in being nice to us homemakers. And so here we've got Explore AI at Home, and to me that is really exciting because they are targeting us. It's like they don't have contempt for us, and that kind of makes me feel good. Okay, then you kind of come down and they say tap into the power of Nvidia AI. Then they've got some cool projects like this pose detection. I've played around with this. This is really cool, and they've got some other like project examples. Now I'll tell you, you can go in and you can do these with your Jetson Nano, but what I'd say is that I don't want to sound like I'm pushing my videos, but I would start with my core videos that show you how to really learn the platform. And then once you've learned the platform, then I would go to these project videos, because then when you do them, you can understand them and you're not just copying and pasting or running someone else's code. You can look at what they're doing. I see what this guy's doing. Okay, yeah. And so you can learn from it. But if you just come and jump directly into these projects, you're gonna kind of like, you'll be able to do what they did, but you really won't understand it. Okay, so let's come down. And then after that, they have some of these videos on getting started, and then they have some stuff from Jetson Hacks. Have you guys been to the Jetson Hacks website? Let me ask you, what's the difference between my channel and the Jetson Hacks channel? Answer. What's the difference between my channel and the Jetson Hacks channel? See if anybody can tell me. Waiting for an answer. Oh, yeah, you guys cannot see the browser. Oh, my goodness, that was terrible. Let's come back over here. I'm sorry, guys. I am a one-person show, and therefore, I don't have anyone in the control room. So here it is. I'll come back up to the top, Exploring AI at Home. And it is, you can search that on Nvidia Exploring AI at Home. You'll come here and then you'll see that they have these projects, which are great projects, and I've done some of them. I recommend that you guys take the getting started videos before you do this. And then you come here and you've got some links to the Jetson Hacks site. And I'll tell you the difference between my channel and Jetson Hacks is he actually knows what he's doing. If you watch that guy, that guy is really, really smart. When I watch his videos, I kind of get scared because it's like, this guy is so smart. I just feel like, you know, I'm going to get in trouble just watching his videos because he's so smart. Have you ever seen it? It's like, go to my repository and click this button, and then all of a sudden you click his repository button and your Jetson Nano is just doing all of this super, super cool stuff. So that guy is really, really smart, and he's kind of funny. He's like got a very dry sense of humor, kind of like a quirky sense of humor. So he's like really fun to watch, and he's really, really smart, and he kind of dives in and kind of solves some really hard problems. Now, what I will say, a lot of his stuff is his repositories, and he writes scripts, and you sort of run those scripts, and then all of a sudden your Jetson Nano does some really cool stuff. What I like to do though is I like to go in and I like to open up his scripts, and I like to open up his programs and kind of go through them and understand what he's doing, and then not just able to do what he did, but kind of understand it. But same types of thing. I think where my videos come in is that if you go through them, then you'll better be able to understand what these masters are doing, right? These guys like Jetson Hacks. If you go through my videos, it'll help you understand the stuff he is doing. But I am a big fan. In fact, I've been wanting to do a video on what I think are the 5 best technology channels on YouTube. And just a heads up, he just very well might be one of my top 5 favorite technology sites. And then we come down and look at this. Boom! TopTechBoy.com made it to the Explore AI at Home page on Nvidia. And this is just really exciting to me. It's not just an ego thing for me. It's really, again, it's like a recognition of this community, of this channel. You guys, you know, we're sort of part of what they want to be part of their community, right? They want the new guys. They want the guys coming from Arduino, and it's like we're not a stench to them, and they don't kind of hold us in contempt. And I think that is really, really cool. So there's a couple of lessons here that they've linked to, and then from those you can take my other lessons. And so I thought that was just a super cool thing to be part of their page there. And I apologize so much that a second ago you guys were not seeing the page that I was on, because again, I'm a one-man operation and I'm trying to live stream and talk and manage Windows and manage the production all at the same time. So guys, let me come back to the chat room. Let's see some of your questions and comments. Israel Resonance, good job. Well, thanks. Kimati Richards, no issues. Okay. Has the code changed much from the start of your Jetson Nano? Okay, that's a good question. My series of videos were done starting on JetPack 4.2. Somewhere along the way, you know, JetPack 4.3 came out. And JetPack 4.3 actually works a lot better than 4.2. And almost everything in the lessons are going to be identical if you're on JetPack 4.3. The one difference is where I go in and I use that OpenCV contour command. In the earlier version of OpenCV, the contour command returned 3 parameters, and in the updated OpenCV, which is on JetPack 4.3, it only returns 2 parameters, so that line of code dies. But all you got to do is one of those underscores, take it out, and then all of a sudden everything works. And I think besides that, everything else will work the same. I think there might also be, in the older version, you could call up the webcam in the OpenCV, that video capture command. You could just put a 1 in quotes, like one for camera 1. But now with the JetPack 4.3, just the 1 doesn't work. It wants in quotes /DEV/video 1. And then I think with those 2 changes, everything else will work on 4.3. Now, 4.4 has come out, and I will say the last time that I played with 4.4, I had some issues with it. And one is, if you remember that dlib library, that face recognizer library, that on JetPack 4.2, I think I could operate at 10 or 15 frames a second. And then on JetPack 4.3, I could operate at 10 or 15 frames per second. And then when I went to JetPack 4.4, everything else identical, it dropped to like 3 frames per second. And so somehow the last time I tried it, there were some libraries that used to work on, and this is just, I'm assuming what happened is that on the older versions of JetPack, those libraries were working on the GPU, and perhaps now they're not getting down to the GPU, it's executing at the CPU. That's kind of what I am assuming. And so until JetPack 4.4 works with some of those libraries, I'm going to stay on JetPack 4.3. Now here is here's the strange thing. On the Jetson Xavier, it's on JetPack 4.4, and on it, those face recognition libraries run really fast, like faster, of course, on the Nano, because you've got more of the GPU cores. Okay, so what I don't understand is why those libraries run on the Xavier on 4.4 but won't run on the Nano on 4.4, and so I am not sure what's going on there. Now maybe some things have changed since I played around with it, but I kind of like, okay, this isn't working, I moved on to other things. I should probably go back and look at it at some point. The other thing that is a tad bit of a annoyance is that if you run the Raspberry Pi camera on the Jetson Nano, boom, it runs great, perfectly clear, everything's great, everything's wonderful. But when you run it on JetPack 4.4 on the Xavier, you get this high degree of digital noise. Okay, you get a lot of digital noise in it. And then even like if I do the noise reduction using GStreamer, I can get rid of that noise, but I hate to have to do that in software, right? It'd be good if we got a clean image. The other thing I noticed on the Xavier, the label between the sensor like 1 and sensor 2, the labels on the board didn't match the label that you would use on the software. It was like reversed. Okay, that's a small thing. I can live with that. But it would really be nice if somehow, I mean, it's just, I hate it when you buy a more expensive board and you lose capability. And so the Raspberry Pi camera works great on the Jetson Nano. It doesn't work, at least with the last JetPack I was using, it doesn't work very well on the Xavier. And sometimes on the forums there was a little bit like, oh, go talk to the camera manufacturers. Little bit didn't quite get complete satisfaction on that, but I think we're going to be probably heading to we'll see that worked out. I really think. Let's get back to the get back to the chat here. Okay, let's see. John Cat, are you saying I'm cool? I'm cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. You guys come here for the fails. Yeah, that's right, Alex. I think you guys watch my channel just to watch me crash and burn. Same reason you watch NASCAR. It's for the wrecks, right? That's why you guys watch me. I've had one wreck already, right? I was talking from a screen that you guys couldn't see. Okay, Opal. Yes, I'm an old coot. Yes, Opal, you are, but we love you as well, okay? And he missed Friday's session again. I'm sorry for that. Can we train the Jetson Nano to recognize any new object? Yes. Okay. Chasiva Naga Raju, I just massacred your name, I'm sorry. Yeah, and that's what I am showing over here. I retrained it, that the model that I was using was not made for single board computers. I did transfer learning to teach it that. So you start with a model that works well, and then you retrain it for what you're interested in. And that's an upcoming lesson. Lesson's already made, it's in the can, it'll be released, and you guys will be able to do this. Maybe you're not interested in single board computers. Maybe you want to tell, like, you want to be able to detect a certain object. Okay, well, you'll be able to do that based on what that video is saying. Okay, Mad Mark thinks this class is cool. Well, thank you. Ohio Tech Teen, you should do a collaboration with Jetson Hacks. I'd be afraid. I would be like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. That guy is so much smarter than I am. He knows so much. Well, it's not that I'm not smart. It's just I come from an engineering background. I'm an electrical engineer with a emphasis in solid state physics. And so my work was like on high performance semiconductor devices. I was working down at the transistor level, at the atomic level. So like I would be doing the quantum mechanics and the hardcore physics to create a transistor that worked a certain way. And then that transistor would be handed off to the IC designer who would design ICs around that transistor. So it's sort of like I was more on the physics end of it and more of the hardware and more of the quantum mechanics. And I really wasn't a coder. The coding that I did was early on in my career. I was responsible for testing integrated circuits. So I had to write code to program testers to test the integrated circuits. But that was like back in the days of HP Basic and Fortran and things like that. And then one day C came along, and so I jumped in, okay, I need to learn C. And man, it's just like, I spent like a week on C, and I decided I didn't want to be a programmer. So I moved on. And then only here recently, I've kind of got back into the coding with the Arduino and that sort of stuff. Okay, yes, you can do that. There is a series of training models on the Nvidia website. Yes, indeed, there is. Opal, I'm quite jealous of all the great things this younger generation has got to do. Yeah, and I'll tell you, we hear so much bad stuff about the younger generation, but oh man, the young people that are taking these lessons, it's just like I am blown away when I'm sitting and talking to a freshman in high school that's saying, yeah, I'm finishing up calculus this summer. What should I do? It's like they're a freshman in high school, they're out of math, right? It's just like they're out of math already to learn. So I say, well, I guess you could do differential equations. Okay, I'll do differential equations. But there are some amazing young people out there. And what makes me happy is me as an old coot and you guys as old coots that we can kind of transfer some of our wisdom and knowledge and expertise to this younger generation. And it is just like nothing pumps me up more than to be able to work with young people on the channel. And we have some of the smartest people in the world working on this. Like, let's see, Cap Electronics. Cap, you're a young guy, aren't you? Correct me if I'm wrong, Cap Electronics, but you are a young guy, not one of us old coots, right? Let's see. Okay, Cap is working on some things there. That looks good. Ohio Tech Teen is using a 32 gigabyte card. Yeah, I think I would try Ohio. If you could get a little bigger card, it would probably be good. It's not that it won't work on 32 gigabytes. I like to just have a little more headspace than that. Let's see, the Drone Bot Workshop. Okay. Cap Electronics. I will say, again, I'd kind of talked about I want to make a video of my top 5 favorite YouTube channels. I think Drone Bot Workshop would be pretty high on my list. Have you seen the production quality of that guy's videos? I mean, it's just like, here's this little guy, and he is making what would be like broadcast quality. It's just like I'm blown away by the work that guy's doing. So we tip our hat to Drone Bot Workshop. Okay, Alex, I'm working on 4.4, but things are breaking on 4.3 as it is becoming old and deprecated. That is kind of the problem, Alex, that we've got different JetPack versions, we have different OpenCV versions, we have all these different versions, and it's kind of hard to get in the groove where everything works. If you stay on 4.2, everything on all my videos will work if you just stay on 4.2. If you go to 4.3, everything's going to work except that contours command and that string that you use to launch a webcam. 4.4, man, you guys are on your own. And I know some of you are going out and compiling things from source and all that sort of stuff. But man, I can't put that. That's beyond what the typical person is going to be able to do. So I've got to just kind of sit on a JetPack. And there's nothing wrong with sitting on 4.2 or 4.3. There's nothing wrong with sitting on that until kind of things stabilize on one of the more recent ones. Okay, cool thinking that I found it is that if you have your cursor on top of a track bar and more the scroll wheel, yeah, oh, how you're right. You can move the scroll bar with the wheel on your mouse. That is good. Have you considered live donations. People could be asking questions live and you receive additional support from them. I'll tell you something, that's an interesting question, 12th weariness. But one of the things behind my channel is like, I have a Patreon account. I really appreciate you guys are just so generous and so helpful on that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I don't give any, what I want is everything that I do to be completely free, because there are little poor guys in Africa, in India, and in the third world, and they don't have 10 cents, right? And you guys know I have a home in Africa, and my neighbors in Africa, they make 10 cents an hour. Okay, so us in the Western world, it's hard for us to appreciate how poor people are in the third world. And one of the things I notice in the third world is education is cherished there. I mean, these people, it is their dream to be able to have an education. And here in the Western world, if we're not careful, a lot of young people kind of have contempt for education. Like, why do I have to be in school, right? I mean, not the guys on this channel. You guys are the cream of the crop. But there are people that because education is free, it's not precious, okay? So what I don't want to put anything behind a paywall. I've gotten offers to put my stuff behind some of the really famous names in the education paywalls, and I won't do it, okay? Everything that I do is going to be free, and if somebody wants to help out on Patreon, it's much appreciated, but I am not going to deny knowledge to someone because they can't afford to pay for something. And I wish there was a way that I could make kits available to these guys in the third world. I mean, I wish that I could just give away kits so that these poor people in the third world would be able to kind of lift themselves up. And so that's kind of a dream I have. But yeah, everything's going to be free. I will say that I have a series of lessons, 12th weariness, on how to be a successful engineer, and that is my least popular tutorial series, but it's the most valuable information. And so I was always kind of amazed, like, all right, I mean, I really, I mean, I'm not tuning my own horn, but like, I was at the highest level of executives in companies. I had my own Silicon Valley company funded by Sequoia Capital. I mean, I was a guy that was really in the mix in the high-tech world. And I learned a lot of things the hard way. I learned a lot of things from personal experience. I try to share that. But that particular series of lessons doesn't seem to be very popular. Omar thinks I'm cool. Well, wow, that is good. Okay, the DroneBot workshop. Yes, that is a, wow, we are going to have to ban someone from this, we're going to have to ban someone from this live chat. You guys, why do you make me ban you? Okay, why do you make me ban you? Okay, hello from India. Hello. For me, very interest with the stereo cam measuring. Yeah, I hope we can get into that. And then if you use a larger card, I will have to rewatch the JetPack series. Yeah, that's probably true. Okay, David Booth just ordered the Nvidia Nano. Okay, man, welcome to the world of artificial intelligence. It's something that makes me very excited. Cap Electronics is 15. Okay, I remembered right. Cap is one of those amazing young people, as is Ohio Teen Tech, and then I think we have Fun Engineering. There are several dozen just amazing young people that I have the chance to interact with on this channel. Let's see, when you do a ROS series, can you do some work with micro ROS? I will have to look into that. I cannot say. I've not decided exactly what direction that is going. Okay, let's see. Opal, thank you. John Cat, I will repeat what I said before. You're cooler. Oh, John, you're so nice. Okay, I always wanted to be cool. Okay, when I was in high school, I was not the cool kid. So maybe as an old coot, I can finally achieve the coolness that I always dreamed of. Okay, you should do giveaways on Patreon to encourage people to join. You know, the thing is, it's just like, there are people like, I'm doing this for free and I'm throwing it out there for free. And then there's people that just want to be a part of it and thank you. Okay. But it's like, I don't want to use gimmicks like, oh, if you give me this thing, I will give you this thing. It's sort of like, man, everything's free. If you want to help, thanks. If you don't want to help, you're welcome, right? It's just the Patreon. One of the things that Patreon helps me do is it helps me do things like I got the nice Yeti microphone. I got some studio lights, bought a nice camera. You know, I can kind of and I can buy gear to review and stuff. And it's sort of a way for me to get cool stuff and play around and show you without getting in trouble with my wife. You know, my wife would get upset if I was spending a lot of money on this. And so it's just cool that you guys help me out and I can get stuff. But if you're not able to or don't want to, no problem at all. I am not going to be sitting here harping on my Patreon account. Okay, let's see. Ohio Tech Teen watched the Successful Engineer series twice. Ohio, did you think you got anything useful out of that? David, I watched your engineering videos and wish I had them when I was a lot younger. Coot, yeah, I do too, because, man, some of the stuff I talk about in that, I learned the hard way because, right, I grew up in West Texas and I was kind of like a brash young man, and I went into the high-tech world. I graduated #1 in University of Texas. I was #1 out of 500 engineering students, and I went into my first job with thinking I was Mr. It, okay? And I kind of learned some lessons the hard way. And so the stuff I learned the hard way, like, man, I would have been so much further ahead, so much quicker in my career if there were certain mistakes I hadn't made early on, that when I was young and foolish, I acted young and foolish. And so I made some things that sort of, my career really went up very quickly, but I could have gone a lot further faster if I had been a little bit more careful in some of the things I did. So I share with you on that series of lessons. Okay, let's see. Creative Paul, hi. Coolest channel on YouTube. Yeah, thank you. What a compliment. Okay, Ohio says that yes, there were many great tips, and he thinks they'll help him in the future. Yeah, and you know, my students that go off to college, and you know, my students now that are moving into the engineering world, they said that what they learned, that practical advice, was more important than the math or the engineering or the programming or anything else, were just those tips of, like, what should you be concerned about your first year on the job? Like, I've got like 10 things. Do these 10 things your first year on the job and you're going to be successful. And they're not like hard things. They're just like the things are like, don't do these 10 stupid things, right? So part of being successful is just don't do stupid things. And you would imagine young, stupid people do young, stupid things. And so if this stuff isn't intuitive to you, just get the list, follow the list, and I promise you, you will be successful. Okay, let's see where we are here. Let me come back over here. We've had a good turnout today. We have really had a good turnout, and we have been on now for, I think we are going on an hour now, so we need to kind of start wrapping this thing up. Let's see if we have any last questions here. Cap Electronics watched the whole engineering series. Okay, great. I hope, Cap, that you benefited from that. So anyway, what I would like to say is that I've worked with, you know, a lot of the people on these single board computers and these edge artificial intelligence. And what I would like to say is I love Nvidia because I think that they treat the home user guys, us small guys, with respect. We are not a stench to them. They like us. And then I get really excited when they come up and do something that they call Explore AI at Home, because that's saying they're interested in the home market. And you know, this is why I think I think it's smart. I actually think it's smart for Nvidia to do that, because I think some of the really greatest applications for artificial intelligence are going to be the ones that haven't even been thought of yet. Like there's the, oh yeah, obviously you want to do this, and obviously you want to do that, and all the big, huge companies are competing and running towards those obvious applications. But the thing is like what I see on my channel is somewhere out there's this guy that's a dentist, and he says, wow, this is how I could use artificial intelligence in dentistry. And he's not a computer scientist, but he can take my lessons and he can start building little prototypes on the Nvidia system of an artificial intelligence system for dentistry. Now that would be something that I could assure you, when I see what he's doing, that Nvidia would have never, ever, ever in a million years thought about. Or this other guy who is working in hydroponics, and he starts saying, man, if you use this in a greenhouse, this is like, whoa, look at what could happen. And so the fact that Nvidia is throwing a wide net and not treating the non-computer scientist as a stench, I think it's going to pay off for them, because I think some of the great things in some of the great things in artificial intelligence are things that the experts aren't thinking about. And that's kind of like, I've shared with you guys that I was part of the very earliest days of nanotechnology. I have several dozen of the kind of core patents in nanotechnology. And as I was working at the forefront of that technology, developing it, the things that we were vectoring towards that were going to be the applications of nanotechnology, some of the stuff we just overlooked, man. We were going this direction, but the stuff that really mattered was over here. So sometimes in the early days of technologies, the experts don't see the full potential. And so I think Nvidia is being pretty smart, being nice to us normal guys. So I've got a couple more minutes here. We're going to have to wrap this thing up in 5 minutes, but let's see if we have some more questions. Let's see. Catalan Alb is 33. Okay, you're one of the young coots living in Germany, thinking of bachelor's degree in electro and information technology. Okay, you know, I think that's great. If you get a technology degree, you will be employed for the rest of your life. And so I think that's a really smart thing. Okay, Pietro says, I'm an inspiration. Well, thank you. That's wonderful. Back to Ohio. Do you know with Xavier will be available? I am not sure. Like, it comes available and then it's not available, and so it seems like there's still some supply issues. Just keep watching. You know, you can keep watching my links. The thing is, don't overpay for it, because it seems like what happens on Amazon is that the official channel runs out, and then there's like third parties that are selling it for $500 or $600, and you know that they're going to be offered again. So wait, the fair price for a Xavier is $399. And then on Amazon, it's plus tax, but no shipping. And that is the fair price. Don't pay $500 or $600. Just wait for the good price. Okay, let's see. Are you planning to do some lectures on transfer learning? Yes, sir. Those videos are already made and queued up, and those will be coming in the future. And like I say, I do the example. I show you transfer learning on these single board computers, but then the concepts I show you how to do there, you could do for whatever it is that you want to learn how to recognize. And that is one of the most fun things that I will do. Ohio says, is there going to be a stream this Friday, a hangout? Ohio, if I don't have a septic tank problem, I will be here on Friday, okay? Let's see. Jose, thank you for the videos. Okay. Hey, I motivate Jose. That makes me happy. Okay, will there be a stream this Friday? Yes. Opal, my first programming language was Fortran. Man, Fortran on the punch cards. Yes, Opal, I'm there with you. You know what? I learned programming on Fortran, and I'll be honest with you, I missed the go-to statement. Somewhere along the way, like go-to line 33, they dropped that, and man, it was like the go-to was my go-to line of code, and I have always felt a little bit empty that they took away the go-to command from me. Opal, do you remember the go-to command? Okay. Shuttlepod 1, would you say physics and engineering folks think in a similar fashion? Yeah, I would say engineering is applied physics. And so if you take physics and math and you apply them, you end up with engineering. And that's why I love engineering, because it's applied, but you really do get into the physics of things. So like I say, when I was in the mainstream of high tech, I did quantum mechanics, but it wasn't for fun, or it wasn't for academic exercise. It was like, if you wanted to radiation harden this circuit, you had to work very hard quantum mechanics problems. And by working quantum mechanics problems, I was able to harden electronic circuits and microprocessors where they could, not to brag, but they could fly through the Van Allen belt like it wasn't even there. Jetson Nano or Xavier, if you've got the resources for the Xavier, I would get it. I love the Xavier. I have one. If you've got the resources for it, get it. But if you don't, man, you can do a whole lot of stuff on the Nano. And really, the Xavier is fun, but you don't have to have it. So if you can get it, get it. But if you can't, don't worry about it. Okay, Gusto, hello from Brazil. Brazil, all right. Thank you for the amazing lessons. Augusto, thank you. David Ennis, punch cards. Oh, yeah, the old punch cards. I have done some punch cards in my day. Will there be lessons for PyTorch? I think I'll make the PyTorch a separate set of lessons. So I'm going to kind of wrap up the Jetson Nano lessons. And then I would like to kind of do NumPy, because I think that if you really understood NumPy, then PyTorch would make a lot more sense. And so I'd kind of like to maybe do NumPy and then do PyTorch. All right, that's kind of like what I am thinking in my little head. Okay, don't buy Jetson from Amazon, buy straight from Nvidia website, best price. Well, it depends on what the thing is. And, you know, no, I can't say that. Okay, never mind. All right, you got my name right the first time. Hey, I got the name the first time. It's rare for someone from the West to get it even after the third time. Okay, you see, the thing is, forgive me when I mispronounce your name. I would rather give you a shout out and do it imperfectly than to ignore you. So if I missed your name, don't get upset. Hello from Turk. Is TURQUEI? Is that like Turkey? Or am I missing that? It is good to use Nvidia for the controller as well. Okay, you know, guys, what I really, okay, all right, this is like let's talk about the Jetson Nano and let's talk about the GPIO pins. All right, this is the one thing that kind of is a little bit of like not my favorite thing. They're very puny. Okay, it's like you can't light an LED from the GPIO pins. You got to run it through a transistor. And to me, it's a little silly that you got to have a transistor to light a GPIO pin. And also the GPIO pins on the Jetson Nano, it's like they can't drive any capacitance at all. And so it's like you operate the GPIO pins, you hook a digital voltmeter up to them, and they're not working. Well, the reason they're not working is the capacitance of and if I'm getting this wrong, I apologize, but it seems like the capacitance of the leads on your DVM are enough to make your GPIO pins inoperable. And so even putting them on a scope, I had to use the low impedance or high impedance or whatever that special probe is to be able to get the signal coming off of those GPIO pins. I'll tell you what my dream system would be if on the Nvidia, what do they call it, the developer board or whatever, you know, you've got the Nvidia, you've got the Jetson Nano module, and then it's hooked up to the development kit, which is kind of like the breakout board for it. Man, what I wish they would put a tiny little Arduino on that board, and then I wish they would bring the GPIO pins out as the Arduino GPIO pins, and then that Arduino that is on the developer board, the breakout board, whatever you want to call it, that it would have TX and RX tied to the Jetson Nano. So on the Jetson Nano, I'm working in Python, but then when I want to interact with the outside world, I do it through TX and RX and the Arduino on board, because the Arduino pins are beefy and they are rugged and they put out a lot of current, and I can do a whole lot of stuff with them. Plus, if we did things that way, then we could leverage those millions of libraries and those millions of pieces of hardware that have been developed for the Arduino. We could use them directly. And the Arduino chips themselves, I'm not talking about an Arduino board, but I'm just saying the few chips that you need to make an Arduino, those would be small numbers of dimes to do it. And so I kind of wish that we could have a version of the Jetson Nano that had an onboard Arduino, and then the GPIO pins be the Arduino GPIO pins. But that is just me. Hey, we got somebody else from Turkey. All right, man, we love you guys from Turkey. Pro Gamer, hi. We've got. Could I integrate the Nano for the processing and Arduino for control? Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about. I really would like to do something. I am almost tempted, if I had a little more expertise, I would design a board that was a breakout board for the Jetson Nano module that had the little chips. I mean, there's just a couple of chips on an Arduino. I put those on the breakout board and then the GPIO pins. But that will be a project for another day. Crazy Salon says, I'm amazing. Well, thank you. How Techting, and is it hard to control stepper motors with the Nano? It is a lot easier to control stepper motors with the Arduino. So again, some of this stuff, on a project, I would put an Arduino probably between the the stepper motor and the Jetson Nano, because a couple of people, I've gotten indications that maybe a couple of people have damaged some of their output pins on the Jetson Nano, like by driving servos and powering them from the Nano. And so you want to be careful. You don't want to use the Nano or the Xavier as a power supply, right? Like you're tempted to run over and connect to that 5-volt pin on the Nano or the Xavier, but don't use $100 or a $300 board as a voltage supply, because if something goes wrong, you get a voltage spike, you could end up damaging it. And some of the messages that I'm getting from users, I'm becoming fearful that a couple of you guys have damaged your expensive board running some of these external components from, because you got to see these things generate current. And I mean, you know, like if you have something that acts like an inductor, and if you try to stop current through it, like the wire comes loose or something, you can send a voltage spike that can be damaging back into the board. And so I don't know that for sure, but I'm afraid a couple of people have damaged their boards connecting servos and stuff like that to them. Okay, Opal liked my How to Become an Engineer thing. That's good. Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, man, we love Alabama. Ohio Teen Tech also does some 3D printing, and that's exciting. I've seen some of the stuff that he's designed and printed, and it is pretty amazing. We've got Manikant from India. Okay, wow, welcome. Arduino for motor control. Yeah, so you see, if I'm just saying off the top of my head, if I were going to control a stepper motor, I would run it, or a motor, I would run it from like a Arduino Nano, and then I would connect the Arduino Nano to the Jetson Nano by TXRX, and I would have the Arduino Nano do what it's good at, and I would have the Jetson Nano do what it's good at. And I think it would be easier to get to a quick solution, and I think it would be less likely that you do something stupid and burn out your board. So that's just me talking, though. Uncle Paul, usually I'm Grandpa, but today I'm Uncle Nicholas. Yes, I will be your uncle. More image processing projects, please. We got more on the way. Stay tuned to the channel. They are coming. Cap Electronics, okay, Ohio. Okay, Ohio got the adjustable power supply. Great. It was $90. Yeah, but Ohio, you're a young guy, and you'll have that power supply the rest of your life. At some point, just buy good equipment, have a well-equipped shop, and you won't regret it. KLS, hey, Paul, hi. Sridhar, hello. Let's see. Yeah, Alex, it is confusing that you've got the Arduino Nano and you've got the Jetson Nano, and they're two very different things, and so you got to keep those strings. Thoughts on mechatronics? I think that is a great career. I would, if you're interested in mechanisms, I would get a mechatronics degree over a mechanical engineering degree, because mechanical engineering sometimes doesn't end up with the most exciting parts of the project, but I think with mechatronics, you're right there in the sweet spot of these things. Let's see, enjoyed the Arduino tutorials. Okay, and it looks like Mavia Hamid is moving to the Jetson Nano. All right, guys, I love that. Okay, uncle, yes, I'll be your uncle, I'll be your grandpa. Okay, I've got a granddaughter, and I love being a grandpa. And I'm happy to be more people's grandpa. So I will be a surrogate grandpa if that is what you want. Do you think it would be safe to connect the Uno ESP32 to a 12-volt? Oh, man, I cannot answer a question like that off the top of my head, because if I'm wrong, then you might see a little blue puff of smoke coming out of your board. And we all know that once you let the smoke out, it doesn't work anymore. Okay, yes, I have the soldering iron. Oh, yes, Ohio has the soldering iron. You need to learn to solder. Make sure you wear those safety glasses. In Ohio, make sure you don't breathe the fumes. Put on safety glasses. Don't breathe the fumes while you're soldering. You can blow the Arduino if you connect it to the wrong pins. Yeah, you can blow out an Arduino, but you see, I have been doing this 10 years. I've never blown out an Arduino, but if I did, they don't cost very much. Now, if I burned out my Xavier, I would be a little bit more upset. So I take more risk with my Arduino than I would with my Jetson Nano or my Xavier. Okay, Wargaming. I've been loving your videos. Feels like being back at school, but I'm sure I've learned more in 12 hours than I did 5 years of school. Well, how nice. I'm glad that you're learning. Let's see. Okay, Opal sounds like he's checking out. Yeah, we're going to have what? We'll have a live stream, or we'll have a premiere on Wednesday. Is it the Xavier? I think we do the Xavier on Wednesday and Elegoo Smart Car on Thursday. I don't know. I'll have to check. You guys probably know more than I do. Thanks for doing this. Okay. All right, guys. We've been at this long enough. Let's wrap this thing up. I just say to the Nvidia guys, thumbs up, man. You are great guys. I just think you're nice people, right? You're really nice people, and I like that you don't treat us like refuse. You know, refuse. I like it that you're nice to the home users and the hobbyists and stuff. Really, really appreciate that, and I look forward to continue doing more lessons on the Jetson Nano. Look forward to more lessons on the Xavier, and I am really trying to get over and start a series of lessons on the JetBot. So this is Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com. I will talk to you guys later.